Most men today are walking on eggshells. They have been told that extreme kindness is the master key, that full agreement is the right path, that being nice is enough to be loved and desired. But then a strange question appears. Why is it that the more you try to please her, the more she seems to pull away? Why does your constant attention slowly turn into the poison that kills her interest? It sounds crazy. It sounds politically incorrect. Some people may even say it sounds dangerous. But more than 500 years ago, a man who carefully observed power and human nature from inside the dark halls of Italian palaces wrote down a truth that modern society prefers to ignore. His name was Niccolò Machiavelli. Machiavelli did not write for people who wanted comfort. He wrote for people who wanted reality. The reality of power, the reality of desire, the reality of how humans truly respond. And in that reality, one sentence has survived the fire of centuries. Fortune is a woman, and if you want to control her, you must treat her with strength. But don't misunderstand this. This is not about violence. Machiavelli was a master strategist, not a barbarian. The strength he talked about is something much deeper. It is strength of character, strength of boldness, strength of direction, strength of a man who knows who he is and where he is going. Machiavelli understood something uncomfortable but true. Just like fortune, female psychology does not respond to begging. It does not respond to passivity. It does not respond to constant approval seeking from a man who has no center. Desire does not grow from neediness. Desire responds to audacity, to confidence, to a man who leads instead of asks for permission at every step. When you remove all friction, all mystery, all challenge, you don't create safety. You create boredom. Your perfect behavior slowly drains the spark. Your constant availability removes curiosity. Your fear of losing her makes you lose yourself. And once a man loses himself, attraction dies. In this video, here on Mind Echo, we are going to dissect desire from the rawest perspective of history. Not from modern slogans, not from romantic movies, not from comforting lies, but from timeless patterns of human nature. We will explore why your excessive politeness may be working against you, why your caballerosidad is killing the tension, and how the principles of the prince can help you become a man who is respected, felt, and desired, not because he begs for attention, but because his presence naturally commands it. This is not about becoming cruel, this is about becoming solid. Because desire does not follow the man who chases, it follows the man who stands firm. She cannot afford to ignore this. If you are someone who gets offended easily, this video is not for you. But if you are ready to understand the difference between being a nice guy and being a man she truly respects, then stay until the very end. Because what I will reveal in part 4 will completely change how you see rejection. Before we continue, one important clarification. This video is a historical and philosophical analysis of The Prince by Niccolò Machiavelli. This content is educational. It is not literal dating advice. It is not a rulebook for behavior. It is a study of power psychology from the 16th century and how those patterns still appear in modern relationships. The paradox of kindness and Machiavellian virtù. Machiavelli introduced a key concept called Virtù. This does not mean Christian moral virtue. It does not mean turning the other cheek. For Machiavelli, Virtù means energy, effectiveness, decisiveness. Strength of will. A man without virtù, according to Machiavelli, is a man at the mercy of fate. In modern relationships, the average man has confused being good with being harmless. Let me give you a simple example. You ask her what she wants for dinner. She says, "I don't know," and you reply, "Whatever you want, my love." You think you are being kind. You think you are being respectful. Machiavelli would say you are showing a complete lack of leadership. You are giving away the steering wheel. When she sees that you cannot decide even something small like food, her subconscious mind assumes something deeper. If you cannot lead in small things, you cannot protect or guide during life's storms. A direct idea from Machiavelli. He who wants to be loved instead of feared often fails at the first difficulty. In attraction, fear does not mean fear of harm. It means respect for your boundaries. The fear of losing you. The awareness that you can walk away. If she knows that no matter how she treats you, you will stay, beg, and chase for attention, you have already lost. She does not want a man who cannot say no. She wants to feel that the man in front of her has limits. A clear modern example, the simp. The man who gives free validation, comments on every photo, sends long emotional messages, declares love before earning respect. This is the man Machiavelli would describe as a prince who gives away his fortresses before the battle even begins. She does not want a servant, she wants a sovereign. She wants to feel that you have options, you have a purpose bigger than her, you have standards. And if she does not respect those standards, you have the strength to leave. This is not cruelty, this is self-respect. And interestingly, modern evolutionary psychology supports Machiavelli on this point. Biologically, women look for security and direction. When kindness becomes excessive, it is often perceived as a mask for weakness. When Machiavelli says that fortune, or a woman, prefers the young and the bold, he is talking about men who do not ask permission to exist. They act. If you treat a woman as a priority before she treats you as a real option, you break the first rule of power. Never show neediness, because neediness is the opposite of status. 2. The mirror of indifference and scarcity. Machiavelli wrote, "Men forget the death of their father sooner than the loss of their property." What does this tell us about value? We value what is hard to get and what we know we can lose. If you are an unlimited resource, your value slowly goes to zero. This is where selective scarcity comes in. She wants attention that feels like a reward, not something she automatically deserves. If you are available 24/7, if you reply to messages in seconds, if you are always there to listen to her problems about other men, you are not her romantic interest, you are her free emotional support. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must be careful with his favors, so that when he gives them, they feel rare and valuable. Think about luxury brands. Why is a $10,000 bag desired? Not because it works better, but because it is exclusive. If you want her to desire you, stop being the discounted product on the supermarket shelf. Start treating your time like gold. Machiavelli also said that hatred can be earned both by good actions and by bad ones. Applied to attraction, this means something important. Even when you are nice, if you are nice too much, you can create rejection. Why? Because you suffocate her. She needs space to miss you. She wants the mystery of not knowing what you are doing on a Friday night at 10 p.m. When you remove the mystery, you remove the desire. When you remove mystery, you remove desire. To treat her the way Machiavelli understood human nature is to treat her as someone who must earn your attention. If she does something you don't like, don't ignore it out of fear of conflict. Set a boundary. Tension is the engine of desire. A man who never creates tension is a boring man. And for a woman, boredom is the death of attraction. Machiavelli did not seek conflict for the sake of conflict. He understood conflict as a tool to affirm identity. Do not be a mirror that only reflects what she wants to see. Be a diamond, with your own angles, your own edges, and the ability to cut if too much pressure is applied. 3. The power of determination. Let's return to the most controversial phrase. Fortune is a woman. She must be impacted and conquered. In the 21st century, this translates into one word: determination. Machiavelli observed that people and circumstances eventually surrender to those who have a clear vision and refuse to drift away from it. Women want to be guided by a firm hand, not a hand that hits, but a hand that confidently holds the steering wheel. Imagine this situation. You are on a date. The place is overcrowded. The weak man complains and asks, "What do you want to do?" The Machiavellian man says, "This place is full. Let's go to another spot I know. You'll love it." You didn't ask. You decided. You trusted your judgment. That is leadership. Machiavelli once said, "There is no way to protect yourself from flattery except by letting people know that telling you the truth will not offend you." Apply this to her. Treat her like someone strong enough to handle your honest truth. If a dress doesn't suit her, or if her behavior was immature, the average man lies to avoid drama. A man with virtù tells the truth. Ironically, even though this may create a small spark of friction at first, it produces deep respect. She knows you are not a cheap manipulator telling her whatever she wants to hear just to get close to her. She knows you are a man of principles. Machiavelli wrote, "A prince must show himself a lover of virtue and honor those who excel." Apply this carefully. Admire her when she earns it. Never admire her just for existing. Reward her investment in the relationship, and respond to her disinterest with your absence. This is not toxicity, this is Machiavellian justice. If you give 100% and she gives 20%, and you still keep giving 100%, you are teaching her that your effort has no value. The principle of the challenge. Women are drawn to men who represent a challenge. Men they cannot fully decode. Men who are not completely predictable. Machiavelli advised that a prince must never be despised or hated. Hatred is earned when a man becomes weak, needy, or inconsistent. Respect is earned when a man remains solid, fair, and firm. Mystery plus boundaries creates attraction. Predictability plus submission kills it. 1. Contempt is earned when a man is seen as unstable, weak, indecisive, or without direction. Avoid contempt at all costs. Be decisive. Be the man who makes decisions and takes full responsibility for the consequences. 4. The psychology of the fox and the lion. Machiavelli said that a leader must learn to imitate both the fox and the lion. The lion scares away the wolves. The fox detects the traps. In seduction and in dealing with women, this balance is essential. To be the lion means strong presence, solid character, calm confidence, a sense of protection. He is the man who enters a room without looking for anyone's approval. He is the man she feels can protect her from the world. But the lion alone is predictable. That is why you need the fox. The fox represents emotional intelligence, reading between the lines, knowing when to step back so she can step forward. Sometimes, treating her the way she instinctively responds means being the fox who notices when she is testing your frame. She may ignore you for a day. She may make a sarcastic comment about your clothes. She may throw a subtle jab to see your reaction. The lion wants to roar and get angry. The fox smiles, makes a light joke, and continues his day as if nothing happened. Do you know why this works? Because you show her that nothing she does can destabilize your emotional state. That is real strength. Machiavelli said that men are rarely completely good or completely bad. You must learn to alternate. You can be warm, present, and caring when you are together, the protective lion. But you must also be capable of being distant and unreachable when your goals call you, the strategic fox. A real example. She cancels a date at the last minute. The weak man gets angry or begs for another chance. The Machiavellian man says, "Understood, let me know when you're free." And then he disappears for a few days, focused on his work, his mission, or his friends. You didn't chase, you didn't complain. You used the intelligence of the fox and avoided falling into a validation trap. She expected you to pursue her. By not doing so, you reversed the roles. Now she wonders what she did wrong. You have created a gap of uncertainty, and inside that gap, desire grows. Remember this principle. People become attached not only because of what they receive, but because of what they invest. Let her invest. Let her cook for you. Let her travel to see you. Let her make an effort to earn your time. The more she invests, the more loyal she becomes, because no one likes to admit they worked hard for something that had no value. 5. The end justifies the means. The legacy of respect. We now reach the point where everything comes together. The most famous phrase associated with Machiavelli is, "The end justifies the means." In this context, what is the end? The end is not manipulation. The end is not harm. The end is a relationship built on mutual respect and genuine attraction. If the means require you to stop being the submissive, nice guy and become a man with boundaries, mystery, and authority, then those means are justified. Because the final result is a woman who looks at you with admiration, not pity. A woman who feels safe with you because she knows that if you can say no to her, you can say no to the rest of the world. Machiavelli ended The Prince with a call to action: the liberation of Italy. I will end this video with a call to your liberation. Free yourself from the belief that treating a woman like a queen will make you her king. Kings are not born from servitude, they are born from self-mastery. To treat her the way she instinctively responds is to treat her as a companion on your journey, not the destination of your journey. When you place your mission, your work, and your honor above her approval, paradoxically, she will want to be part of that world. She will become your strongest ally. Final quote. There is nothing more difficult to begin, more doubtful to succeed, nor more dangerous to manage than the introduction of new rules. Today, I have proposed new rules for your personal life. They sound crazy because they go against everything we were taught by romantic movies and pop culture. But pop culture has record levels of divorce and unhappiness. Machiavelli has survived 500 years. Don't believe me? Test it. Start today by reclaiming your time. Stop asking permission for your ambitions. Start treating her with the strength of a man who knows that even if he loves her, he does not need her to be complete. As the Florentine master said, it is better to be bold than cautious. Be bold, be audacious, and stop apologizing for being a man. If this content opened your eyes, subscribe and turn on notifications, because in the next video we will explore how to read female body language using the espionage tactics of the Borgia family. You don't want to miss it. Remember, fortune favors those who dare. Until next time. Mind Echo.